Snow swirls everywhere, blinding, confusing. Sleet stings you, biting and cutting from all directions. Adventure has turned into a nightmare. An avalanche has engulfed you. A blizzard has buried you. Stuck, frozen, numb. You wonder how you got here. Blizzards can spring up quickly, like the Kansas blizzard of 1886. That year, unusually warm winter temps suddenly dropped to sub-zero conditions, freezing thousands of animals and 100 Kansans. People died feet away from their warm homes because they were disoriented and blinded by the snow. There is a mental and emotional blizzard that can cause even more disaster than a snowstorm. Springing up quickly, it can invade what seemed like warm relationships. A simple comment, criticism, or memory can plummet you into confusion that sends you reeling. Worst of all, sometimes this blizzard obscures your spiritual vision so that you can't perceive or access the safety, security, and love that is so near you. That blizzard is called shame. Shame is a painful feeling of disconnection. Whereas guilt is a wrongdoing that can be fixed by reconciliation and restitution, shame is more pervasive. It says something about who we are rather than what we do, and it often lingers long after forgiveness has been given and received.
Shame confuses you like whirling snow, like an ice storm with power outages and disconnected wires. Shame literally disconnects the neurons in your brain so that you can't think clearly. You feel a rush of heat in your body and you want to look away and hide. You start to disconnect from other people and from God. Like a city with all the power lines down, you become ice cold. Ice cold and stuck. Shame is a weapon used by the evil one to keep you from moving forwards in creative ventures from God's glory. You can't move because you're numb, unable to accurately sense the world around you or the love of God and others. If shame can swirl you around and confuse you until you're literally buried and totally unable to feel, the evil one has scored a major victory.
When you are numb, stuck, and can't move forward, Jesus moves towards you. Through his word or through the gentleness of a loving fellow believer, he offers to carry you back into the warmth of home and rewarm your frostbitten fingers and toes. His unconditional love is warm and secure, but you're afraid. Numb fingers can't feel the damage going on inside them, but rewarming them will hurt. Turning towards God and others when we are in shame requires courage and intense pain. It might be better to stay numb. Suddenly, you almost think you hear Jesus' voice whispering through his word. I also survived a blizzard of shame. I was shamed constantly because of my mother's reputation, the poverty I lived in, and the town I grew up in. I rose above all that and gained lots of followers, but they left me in a day. My best friends betrayed me. I went through nakedness, mocking, abuse, and false accusation. It seemed like my purpose in life had failed. And the worst of all was when everyone started thinking and saying that my father didn't want me after all, that he had left me and didn't approve of me. That was a blizzard like none other. You look at him, wincing but courageous. So how did you make it through? His gentle eyes bore into your soul as he replies, "The fire of my Father's love burned within me, and I carried that warmth everywhere I went." I saw and heard every one of those shame messages, but I paid no regard to them. Despising the shame means counting it as nothing. I knew my Father loved me and accepted me, so I let those shame messages melt away. But it's not the same for me, you whisper. I'm not Jesus. I'm not perfect. But I love you just like the Father loves me, Jesus says. You can disregard shame messages for the same reason. You are fully accepted through your relationship with me. When you remain in me, you will not be ashamed. The shame messages will still float past your view, but eventually they will begin to melt away. Hide in my love and carry it with you wherever you go. You ponder this as your fingers stop tingling. Slowly, you nod your head. The road out of shame may be treacherous and reconnecting can be dangerous, but you're going to take the first step towards God and others you can trust. You're going to take the first steps toward home.